I'm 37 years old, and I think I just have to accept at this point that I'm never going to be able to function in society on my own. I do my best. I promise I do. But when it comes to just taking care of myself on a basic level or holding down a stable job, I just can't do it. I mean, I can cook a basic meal and brush my teeth and stuff like that. Not saying I'm totally helpless. I mean, I got a master's degree and I did have a solid job for years, and I had jobs before that too. So maybe I've just regressed. I don't know. But I just can't deal with any kind of new situations. Put me in a novel situation and I just break down. I had to take my mom's car to get an oil change and get the AC looked at, and I just kept running into brick walls every step of the way. I'm pretty sure just dropping your car off at the mechanic, that would be a very simple task for most people. But I can just never figure it out. The thing that makes things like that difficult for me, it's like everybody just assumes that everyone already understands the process, which I've never understood why people are like that. Obviously, some people sometimes are going to be doing the thing for the first time, whatever it is. They shouldn't just assume I know how it works. So I will talk about how all that went with the mechanic and everything. I pretty much just embarrassed myself. But first, I want to tell a story from back in college that I think is a good example of how I just can't function as an adult. Because I was a lot younger back then, obviously, but it's not like I've got any better. I've probably got worse, if anything. So I was in this class where we had to do a bunch of group projects, and one of the projects, basically we had to build a little robotic thing. I don't want to say exactly what it was because it was kind of a unique thing. I'm pretty sure the professor just came up with that project on his own, so I don't want to dox myself. But we came up with a design in our group. Then everyone decided I would be the one to take the design to the machine shop to have the people there make it for us, or they were making part of it for us, because they had a guy who I guess it was his whole job to just make things for students' projects. And I remember when we were talking in our group and it was decided I would be the one going to the machine shop, I was just like, yeah, sure, no problem. Because it seems pretty simple, right? And it is simple, or it would be simple for a normal person. That's the thing about me, too. I think I'm better about it now, but I would always do this thing back in school and in previous jobs I've had where I'll agree to do something, and I guess I just forget at the time that I have crippling social anxiety. So I agree to do something, then when it comes time to do it, I just keep putting it off to the last minute because I'm afraid of putting myself in whatever social situation I would have to go through to get the thing done. And there's been times when I just never did whatever it was I was supposed to do. I literally just stopped going to a literature class I had one time because I was supposed to do a presentation one day, so I just didn't go. Then I just kept not going because I was afraid to go back. I didn't even withdraw, I just stopped going. Then I ended up getting expelled because my GPA got so low. I'm pretty sure I've talked about that before, but yeah, I basically flunked out of college because of my social anxiety being so bad. Then later, I went to community college, and then the original college actually accepted me back and they let me reset my GPA. But yeah, anyways, back to the machine shop story. So I agreed to take our drawing to the machine shop and have them make the thing for us, but I didn't actually even know where the machine shop was. But I figured I could just look it up. Like, I'm thinking, I'll just find it on Google Maps. But as it turns out, it wasn't on Google Maps. There was nothing on campus labeled machine shop or anything like that. So then I figured I would need to ask the teacher. And honestly, I think I could have managed to do that, but I guess he got sick or something because he was gone for like 2 weeks. So we just had a grad student filling in for him. By the way this class was, there wasn't actually anything being taught usually. So there wasn't a lecture most of the time. We would just go to the classroom and we would work on assignments or work on our group projects. We usually had two projects overlapping simultaneously, so it wasn't just the one project we were working on at the time. But when I saw that the professor was gone, I was immediately like, well, shit, I guess I'll just wait and ask him next time. So then the next time I had class, he still wasn't there, but by that time it had already been a week since I agreed to take the drawings to the machine shop. And we even talked about it in our group, and I told everyone, like, yeah, I'm going to do it. I just haven't got to it yet. And I could tell one of the guys in my group seemed to be kind of pissed off. He was like, all right, bro, we got to get moving on this thing. And I was just like, I know, I'm going to do it. Don't worry. So all through class that day, I kept periodically looking over at the person that was filling in for our professor, trying to find a time when nobody else was talking to her, because I don't know, it just felt like it would be awkward to go stand next to her, just waiting for her to finish up with someone else. Part of it was just a very unstructured environment in there. People were walking all over the room. At some point, the girl started eating pasta. By the way, the grad student that was filling in for our professor was this girl that was probably about the same age I was at the time, maybe younger, and she had rainbow hair. Like, her hair was literally dyed like a rainbow. It looked ridiculous, but either way, it was a young female, so that made her a lot less approachable to me. But I kept procrastinating on going up to ask her about the machine shop, to the point it got all the way to the end of class. So I'm thinking, well, okay, I'll go ask her now before I leave. So I start to go over to her, but before I got to where she was sitting, she stood up real quick and she walked all the way across the room and started talking to some other girl. So then I stopped and I'm like, okay, I guess I'll go over there now. So I walked all the way over to the other side of the room, and I'm just standing there awkwardly while this rainbow hair grad student is talking to some other girl, just waiting for them to finish up. Neither of them saw me, by the way, I'm pretty sure, because they were facing away from me. But they just kept talking for so long, and they just weren't noticing that I was there. So I did try to clear my throat. And then I was like, excuse me, but I guess she didn't hear me. I mean, I don't think I said it very loudly. It almost came out like a whisper, honestly. The other girl did look at me, though, when I said, excuse me, but then she just kept on talking to the rainbow girl. So, I don't know. It was just really awkward. I was just standing there, sweating like a retard. It got to the point it was like, okay, now I've been standing here too long. So I just gave up. I mean, I don't know if she even would have known where the machine shop was anyways. See, even now I'm like justifying it in my mind. She probably did know where it was. But anyways, okay, then next time we had class, I did plan to try to ask her then, but it was pretty much the same thing. I just chickened out. And if this sounds completely ridiculous, I get it. It is ridiculous. But that's why I say I can't function as an adult. The most basic social interactions scare the shit out of me. And it's kind of weird which things give me that anxiety, because I can handle most routine interactions. Like, I don't usually have any trouble running errands, like getting groceries or ordering takeout or something like that. That's fine. Easy peasy. I can do that all day. But certain situations, it's like I just turn into a nonverbal autistic. I mean, it pretty much depends how novel the situation is. If it's something I've done before, then I'm usually fine. But anything like in this case where I needed to ask a specific question and I wasn't even sure if the person I was trying to ask would know the answer. And then on top of that, I had to stand up in the middle of the classroom to do this, even though it wasn't really out of the ordinary for people to get up and walk around in that class. But all of those factors, I don't know. Basically, I just can't function. I just, somewhere along the way during childhood, my development just stopped, I think. My social development was just stunted. Because the way I am, I think it would be normal for a young child to be this way. But I'm 37 now, and I'm still like this. I was probably 24, I think, when I was in this class I'm talking about, by the way. So even then, grown adult, grown ass man, and I don't know, I just can't function. And it is kind of just random because I went to multiple career fairs back in the day, and that was always fine. Yeah, I would have some anxiety whenever it was my turn to talk to someone, but that wasn't really that bad. It may have been because at the career fair, it is at least kind of a structured environment. You get in line and you wait your turn, then you get to the end of the line, you give someone your resume, then you start talking about any job openings they have. There's structure to it. So going into that situation, at least I know what to expect. So I guess that's the difference. But yeah, either way, I don't want to drone on too much about this machine shop story, so I'll just get to the point. Basically, it got to the point where it had been 2 weeks since I had said I would go to the machine shop, and I still hadn't even figured out where the machine shop was. I actually spent about an hour one day just walking around campus looking for any building that looked like it might be a machine shop. I was walking around reading the labels on every door. It was just silly, but that's just how I am. I'll end up wasting so much time, and I justify it in my mind like, well, I don't know who to ask. What am I going to do? I don't know who. When really I could have just asked probably anybody else in my class. Or I could have just asked random people that I saw walking by on campus. Somebody probably would have known. But whatever. So then in class, after it had already been 2 weeks, we were in our group and everyone was asking me about how long it was supposed to take for them to make the part, because I guess they all assumed surely by then I had already been to the damn machine shop. So I was just like, well, actually, I was just kind of stuttering like an idiot. Then the one guy was like, did you not do it yet? Dude, what the fuck? Give me the drawing. Dude, I'll take it right now. So I was just like, okay. So I gave him the drawing. Then he immediately got up and left the room. And he was gone for like 10 minutes, maybe, probably not even that long. And then he came back and he was like, okay, they said it'll be done by Monday. See how easy that was? And I was just like, okay, thanks. I didn't know what to say, because he was right to be frustrated. There was still plenty of time left before the project was due, by the way. But still, obviously I should have just done what I said I would do, because I was a good student, usually. I pretty much always did, I would say, more than my fair share in group projects, but I just completely let everyone down with this one. But yeah, after that, the guy was asking me if I could pick the thing up on Monday when it was done. And I still had no idea where the machine shop was. So I was like, yeah, I can do that. But where is the machine shop? And as soon as I asked that, the guy was obviously just so fucking pissed off. One of the other guys in our group laughed. And the one guy was like, just forget about it, dude. I'll go get it. Why don't you just work on the report? Just work on the report. So, yeah. It's experiences like that just make me think, I haven't even been able to land interviews since I started looking after I quit my last job, but it's probably for the best. I think I did do okay at the job I had, but it's totally possible if I did get hired somewhere now, it's possible I might end up dragging everyone else down. Everyone I worked with, I might drag them down because I'm just not socially competent enough to do certain things I'm supposed to be doing. I really feel like I just never developed social skills past the age of like 10. I really am a man child. But what are you even supposed to do at this point? I'm already 37 years old. I'm pretty sure my brain is pretty much set at this point. When you're young, you still have some neuroplasticity or whatever. You can still kind of change your personality a little bit by practicing good habits and everything. But I'm pretty sure the older you get, the human brain just loses the ability to actually make any significant change. That's why everyone always loves whatever music they listen to before they turn 30. And then after 30, everyone starts to think that any newer music that comes out after that sucks. Because the human brain just gets too old and set in its ways. Obviously, you can still learn new things, even if you're old as shit. I mean, I'm still constantly learning new reasons why I'm such a fucking loser. But seriously, I do think the human brain just naturally gets resistant to learning new things, and especially to learning new habits. It's so hard to form new habits when you're older, especially new good habits. It's very difficult. Maybe I'm just making excuses here, but I think it's just over for me at this point. I'm going to be a socially anxious, socially inept man-child until the day I die. It is what it is. I accept my fate. Okay, so with taking my mom's car to the shop, so basically it needed an oil change, and the AC isn't broke exactly. It still kind of works, but it just takes too long to get cold. So something's wrong with it. And we're having a heat wave now, so yeah, it needed to get fixed. So my mom wanted me to take care of it, which should be a simple task. Just got to make an appointment and drop the car off. Should be pretty easy. And I have done this before, by the way, but the problem is the mechanic we used to use apparently just closed down, and that place made it easy. You could just set an appointment online, then you would take the car in, and they would text you with any updates. It was just really simple. So I had to do some research to even figure out a new place to go to, because I don't want to get ripped off. My mom's paying half, and I'm paying the other half, by the way. Now that I make some money on YouTube, I'm trying to help out more financially. So I decided to go with this one place that had really good reviews, and also it's pretty close to my house, so I figured that'd be a good choice. But it's kind of a old school type of place. They don't even have a website. So I had to call, which is already kind of nerve-wracking for my pathetic man-child self. But you got to do what you got to do. So I called the place, and it was just... See, I don't know if it's just me or maybe the customer service at this place really is just that bad. Because when they answered the phone, it was just this raspy old lady, or that's what it sounded like, and she just goes, "Yeah." So I immediately thought it was a wrong number. Because when you call a business, are they not supposed to answer like, "This is Stupid Boomer Auto Shop. What can I do for you?" Are they not supposed to say the name of their business? Because all she said was, "Yeah." So I just hung up because I assumed I must have called the wrong number. So then I called them again. This time I made sure to dial the number correctly. But it was the same number because I had the number right the first time, I guess. So this time she answered and she was like, "Hello?" So I was just like, is this Stupid Boomer Auto Shop? Except I said the actual name of the place. Obviously, I didn't call it Stupid Boomer Auto Shop. So she was like, "Yeah." So then I said, "Okay, well, I need to make an appointment." And she just goes, "What for?" So I said, "'Cause I need to get my car fixed." And she was like, yeah, I kinda figured that, honey. What's wrong with it?" So then I told her about the AC and what it's been doing, and then she asked me if I was already a customer or not, so I said no. Then she just goes, "Okay." And then that's all she said. So I'm just sitting there holding my phone up to my ear. I even looked at my phone to make sure it didn't get disconnected, but the call was still connected. So I was like, hello?" And nobody was responding. I don't know what was going on because I could still hear some background noise. So I don't know, but I waited for a minute and nobody was saying anything. And then I just hung up. And okay, I know this is stupid or whatever, but that call took a lot out of me. I don't handle social situations like that very well already. And just with how rude the lady was being, I don't know. I just really didn't want to have to call back. I was also trying to deal with my cousin at the same time. He's about 2 years old. For those that don't know, my mom is his legal guardian, so I take care of him while my mom's at work. So he was already trying to get my attention the whole time. So say what you will, but I just couldn't bring myself to call back. I just waited for my mom to get home and I told her to call him. I told her I tried and I told her how it went. And of course, she was just like, "You can't even just call the mechanic? How hard can it be? Blah, blah, blah." Which I get it. I probably deserve that. But at the same time, it doesn't help at all to just insult me about it. I already know how pathetic I am. I am well aware of that. I don't want to have to depend on my mom to do these things, but fuck it. It's just, at this point, I just have no drive to put myself through a hard situation when, I told her if she didn't want to call, I would just find a different place that could set appointments online. Because I'm sure that's probably the standard by now. It's just a matter of this particular place being close by, and also supposedly it's highly rated. So, yeah. My mom called and she set up a time for me to drop the car off. I don't feel good about it. I know it's pathetic that I had to get my mom to do it. It is what it is, though. Okay, so this all happened last week, by the way. So the time I had to drop the car off, my mom was going to be at work, so I had to get my aunt to go with me to give me a ride back home. So we drove there together, or she followed me there in her car. So when I got there, I didn't know where to go because it was just a garage. There wasn't any kind of office or anything that I could see from the front. So there was a guy in there working on a car. They had the car lifted up on the thing, so the guy was standing under it, reaching up with a wrench. So I was like, "Excuse me, sir." And I guess I startled him because he dropped his wrench and he turned around and he was like, "Huh?" That's all he said, just, "Huh?" And he sounded pissed that I was even talking to him. I actually think he might have been the owner, but I'm not really sure. I just think that because he was old and I know the owner's supposed to be some old guy. But anyways, I told him I was dropping my car off and he was like, "Okay, what are you telling me for?" And I'm just like, "Well, who do I tell?" And he said, "Go to the office." And he just gestured toward the back of the garage. So I walked back there and yeah, once I was inside the garage and like all the way toward the wall on the side, then I could see there was a little office in the back. But you couldn't see it at all until you walked in there a little bit. But whatever. The guy was being a dick. I don't think I did anything wrong there. That's on him. So then I go back into the office and there just wasn't anybody in there. I don't know if they were in the bathroom or on break or what. I don't know, but there was no one in there. But I waited for a few minutes and nobody was there. Nobody was showing up. So I went back out and I didn't see anybody in the garage anymore either. That old guy wasn't there anymore. So I went back to where my aunt was parked out front. And as soon as I walked up to her car, she's like, okay, let's go. So I told her, well, we can't go yet because I couldn't find anybody to give the key to. So I was trying to tell her I'm just going to wait for a couple minutes, then I'm going to go back and see if I can find someone. And my aunt was like, I don't know what her problem was. I guess she was just in a bad mood, but she was like, goodness gracious, can't you do anything? I'm not sitting here all day. So I told her, like, there wasn't anyone in there. I don't know what you want me to do. But she wasn't listening. She was already getting out. She was like, just get in the car, give me the key, I'll do it. So I just gave her the key and I got in the car. I don't even know if she knew what we're taking the car in for, but I don't know. I guess it doesn't matter. My mom already talked to him on the phone. So, of course, when she went, she was in and out in like 30 seconds. I guess whoever was working in the office actually came out of hiding. But when my aunt came back to the car, she was so pissed that she had to get out and everything, even though, really she didn't. I was going to go back in. I just got tired of waiting in there. So I went back to tell my aunt why it was taking so long because there was no one in there. But yeah, I don't know if I'll ever use this mechanic again. The customer service experience was not very good. I mean, the thing with the phone, sure, I probably should have called back myself, not to excuse their horrible customer service, but yeah, theoretically, I could have handled that if I was capable of functioning as an adult. But I don't think I even did anything wrong when I was actually there at the place. My aunt was just being a B word. And the guy that was there was being a dick. And then, of course, later on, my aunt told my mom about it, and she made it out like as if I had refused to even go in there or something. So, I can't win either way. No matter what happens, no matter what I do, I can't win. So that just makes me feel like, why even bother? I'm going to get treated like I'm a man-child anyways. Might as well be one. I mean, all in all, I think I do manage to take care of things well enough. My biggest problem is just the social anxiety. And yeah, I do have a major aversion to work, or certain types of work, like a 9-to-5 job or like doing chores around the house. Yeah, that kind of work, truly, I do avoid it at all costs. There's a ceiling light in my bathroom that's just hanging there by the wires that's been that way for probably 2 years now. I just don't see that as a valuable use of my time when I could be doing something else, like designing a thumbnail or working on videos, because that's work too, but that I actually enjoy. But maybe that's the hallmark of being an immature man-child. I only want to do things when it's something I get pleasure out of. Or maybe I'm just not as big a cuck as most people. I don't know. I go back and forth. Anyways, if you found this entertaining, please consider watching some of my other videos. There's also some secret videos you can watch for free on my Patreon. Videos YouTube doesn't want you to see. So check that out. No sign up required. Thank you for watching. I'll see you in the next one.